What is up, guys? Thank you so much for your patience, but we are now here. Welcome back to Shaboom Reacts. I'm super excited to have my guest, Renes Rivera, who played Lennox, one of the flag smashers from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Renes, it's awesome to see you.
What's going on, guys? What's up, man?
Oh wow. Well, that's out the way now. So I'm just glad you're here and all
Oh
that's
man, me too.
done and dusted. But yeah, man. Dude, this show just first off, wow, this show has blown my expectations. Really liked WandaVision, but I mean, I'm a big Captain America fan, so
Oh
with
yeah.
familiar territory with, Falcon Winter Soldier, really looking forward to Bucky's journey with along with Sam and all the other characters we see. And yeah, just tell me, like, how did it feel? Before we talk about acting, is just how you felt when you first were called up for Falcon Winter Soldier.
Well, I was filming a movie in New Orleans, and I had just gotten to my hotel, and it was about 11 in the morning, and my agent calls me, and he's like, "Hey, are you sitting down?" And I said, "Oh, what? Did I do something wrong? This sounds serious." And he's like, "Look, you booked the Marvel part." And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
And then he's like, you got it, man. You got it. And he told me all the episodes. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, are you serious right now? I was like, Tom. His name is Tom Milam at People Store. I love them. That's my agency. And I was like, oh my God, Tom, you don't understand, man. I appreciate this, man. I love you guys. But I was like, Tom, you don't understand, And then the first person I called was my mom, but she didn't answer. And then I
Oh,
called I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, I got it, I got it. I got the part. I was like, it's a lot of hard work, and I was gonna get it. And he's like, son, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. I knew you could do this. And I was like, oh. And that was a moment that'll always be with me. The first time I cried because I got a part, and it was something that meant something to me because I've been watching superhero stuff my entire life. I remember the 1990s Captain America with the rubber ears. I remember just watching, I know it's DC, but like Batman, with Adam West as a child and all this. I'm huge on superheroes, huge. I had all these toys, a lot of Wolverine toys, X-Men toys. I loved Colossus. So being a part of something as big as Marvel and the MCU was incredible. Like it made me cry, and I'm just, man, it was,
I
look
wouldn't
at
be
me.
surprised.
Yeah, dude, it made me. I'm a giant man. I'm 6'6", which is what, 1.98 meters. And
Damn.
so, like, I'm a giant dude, and for me to be like crying like a little baby, it meant a lot. It meant a lot for me to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I remember hearing from what Peter said as well from your interview with him, like you're a big Marvel fan. So of
Oh yeah.
course, not just from an acting perspective, it's huge to get an MCU role, but as a Marvel fan, you're like, I'm canon to the MCU, yo,
I
dude,
know, I
I'm canon.
know, I know. And I was like, man, I'm in that. I'm in this universe. I've watched every MCU movie in the theaters with some friends, with T-shirts, graphic tees and everything. And I was like, man, people are going to be doing the same, but seeing me, which is cool. Like, not that, I'm the big guy, but like, wow. Every time I see myself, the opening of Marvel happens right before,
I
and
love that.
and I'm like, that
Oh
I'm
my
in
god.
this. I'm in this, and it's just
Yeah.
like fantastic, dude. And honestly, and with this show, I did a show before. It was like 20th Century Fox Marvel. It was called The Gifted. Uh,
Yeah.
with this show, I really connected with the cast. The Flag Smashers. I don't know if you've seen any of the posts that I've done. Like, we hung
Oh
around a
no, I
lot.
love it. It's so goofy, and I think I saw
Yeah.
the recent one. You all
Oh
together.
yeah.
And
Yeah, like that's the like the bond that we all like ended
Mm.
up having with one another, and it was just so fantastic. And honestly, that was one of the biggest takeaways that I've had from this show, and like friendships and like genuine conversation, and just it's I love it, everything about it. It's just like, I'm a geek. I'm a geek. I'm a geek.
Happily.
Every, yeah, sorry.
that's the thing. Like you've when you've like, I just couldn't imagine like, yeah, that moment, just knowing you're going to be in something you've always liked, and of course, like first thing the MCU, it was great how it started off. You had Iron Man,
Oh
you
yeah.
had the previous Marvel project like Spider Man, then you had Hulk, but after that, it just got like everything changed as soon as Iron Man hit. Like we didn't even realize how big this was going to get. I mean,
No.
Marvel had these 10 years planned out. Obviously, like don't know everything for the 10 years, you know, but they know what they want to get in the 10 years.
Yeah.
Things change, you adapt, but they've done something that no other franchise, I feel, has been able to achieve. You know, a cinematic universe with continuity and also just all these gripping storytelling elements that
Oh yeah.
make you so like attached to it. And of course, as a fan, you're going to be attached if you like the comics, but you really feel engaged and part of this whole universe. And literally for you, you're part of the universe, but
Yeah. Yeah.
as a fan and then being the part of it in that way, just yeah, it must be, it's a full circle moment. But yeah, like I mean, your first experience the MCU, how did you think it was going to go from just knowing, maybe seeing the first Avengers film, or even when you saw Iron Man? What were your
I
expectations?
I didn't know what to expect because Marvel surprises me all the time. All the time. I remember watching a movie. I can't. What movie was it? That I was. Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy. I had never even heard
Oh,
of them. Never even heard of them, and it blew my mind and made me fall in love with a tree and a raccoon. You know, and and so like the
yeah.
way it's done, like I don't know what to expect, just greatness, honestly. And I'm not trying to what I'm a huge fan of Marvel and what they do. And I know that I didn't have any specific expectations. I just knew that it was going to be great. And I personally think the show's great. And I just happen to be in it. That's just like a coincidence. That's just the
Mm.
cherry on top, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, so I just expected to, I didn't expect to gain the friends that I did. And I didn't expect to travel the world the way I did. And the first time I ever left the country in my entire life was we flew to Prague and Marvel paid for it, you know, and like forever in my mind and you know my memories and all that. So I uh I just I just let it in. I'm like I'm just gonna be whatever happens. It's gonna be fantastic. I know this, you know, like
Mm.
and so that's my answer to that, man. No expectations, just bunch of reward though, you know,
Mm.
like just a bunch. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, it just man, I'm sorry. I just get so happy when I talk
No,
about
I love it. I love
this.
this. You're probably geeking about it. I love it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I feel that energy. I love it. I was about to say, like, so you said about the traveling thing. So did you feel like, with Falcon Winter Soldier, there's so many great like locations. You know, we get like, I love that dynamic that we get there. So did you get to go to more than just one place, like within
Uh,
filming?
well, we shot in Atlanta and then we shot in Prague. There must have been some other shoots that I wasn't around for, but that's mainly where I shot. That's basically where I shot, Atlanta and in Prague. And I think there was supposed to be some stuff in Puerto Rico, but that happened. You know, the earthquakes were happening and stuff at that time, so we had to switch it over. I'm not sure if that's
Mm.
a secret. If it is, you know, sorry.
You know that Hydra be on your door, or even the
Oh
flag
yeah,
smasher.
oh
Carly's like,
yeah.
we need to have a talk.
You messed up. You messed up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love what they did done with this show, man. Like I said earlier on, big Captain America fan. This it does feel like a 6 hour movie, and I know we've got the finale this Friday, so that's going to be
Yeah,
huge.
yeah,
And just really, each episode has been just so interesting. Like I mean, I like the John Walker Captain America. I like that whole arc. I
yeah.
love what Sam and Bucky are going through. Then we get this. I'll be honest. When I first saw the Flag Smashers, I was kind of like, are these guys going to be like your typical cliche villains? Like, oh, we prefer this post-apocalyptic world, and but then yeah, when you really understand the motive and through Carly and her lens, and then why she brought you guys together, it really makes sense. And it's interesting to see why someone has a perspective like, yeah, when the snap happened, life was better because
Yeah,
obviously everyone was like opposed to that, and of
yeah,
course the Avengers were. Um, yeah. So like, how do you feel like the flag smashers are really misunderstood, and that Carly's, kind of justified the means as to why she goes to this extreme?
I think they're definitely misunderstood. I mean, the world came together when the snap happened. There was no like, there, I don't want to say no racism, but there was no
Mm,
like, there was no divide. There was nothing. We were all one people. And then when everyone came back, all that stuff started happening, and the crimes, just everything that was bad that was gone. We ended up separating ourselves again, and then it became just like we went in reverse. We digressed as a people, and for us to want that, that world peace again is, I wouldn't say selfish, but it was definitely, something that I understand it, and I think that there how they might be going about it might be, disagreed upon, but the intentions, I think, are very pure and out of the heart, and out of the wanting the world to be better.
right.
Yeah.
I do like the motto "One World, One People." Like, it's really it's interesting. Like, is there any if you I don't know if you know, but is there any sort of inspiration from that quote that was taken from anything in particular?
Oh, you know what? That's a great question.
Because
I
it's an interesting one.
it is, and that's when it happened. The blip. Uh, you know, we all just became one people because everyone was helping one another, because people lost
Mm,
caretakers, they lost family members, they lost farmers, they lost everything. So we all had to come together. I mean, but the world had to come together and work as a one unit. There were nothing else. There was nothing else. Just whatever was there, working together, fighting and growing with each other,
right.
fighting for the better. For progress, and that's how we were working together. And then that's it. Like everything just came back and
Yeah.
ruined things, ruined the new system that was working. So we're like,
Because like
hey,
it wasn't a little bit of time that passed. It was 5 long years, and
5 years.
in that year, like in the first year, you could have moved on with your life, even though you'd of course still feel that pain of if you lost a loved one or a partner. It obviously affected everyone, but
Mm.
you don't know what's happened in between the time. You might have had a new relationship, you might have had kids with a new person. Like just those people coming back into your life, you're like, I've moved on from that because I fully
Yeah,
accepted they just disappeared, and I still won't understand why. Because of course humans don't, or the civilians don't know about Thanos and all this
yeah, no,
crazy
no,
war and the Infinity Gauntlet. Like it's just so far from them, and in that sense, like yeah, how you I think the flag smashers in the sense like they probably didn't realize the snap, and then everyone's now come together and they're like, we've got to take means into our own hands. I kind of like that approach from Carly.
yeah,
Of course it's extreme, and yeah, it's like a might not be the best way about it, but I mean obviously the whole extreme of the 5 year jump, like people probably felt that they had to be a bit more accountable for what they're doing because this random thing just happened and people disappeared. Like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, what if it happens again? So if you were actually in, this is quite a deep question, but if you were actually stuck in that same situation with the snap, how would you go about it? Do you feel like you'd resort to sort of like an extreme sense of living, or would you just try and be that Steve Rogers and really just try and move forward and uplift others at the same time?
I I think that I couldn't compare myself to Steve Rogers, but
Oh, no, yeah, of course.
I
No
think,
one's Steve Rogers.
yeah, but
That's
I
a common theme we
definitely,
see.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I think that I would be part of something that helps others, and kind of the role of Lennox, but not, to the point where I'm considered a terrorist, but more of
Yeah.
a person that's helping groups of children, because children are important. They're the future, and a lot of those kids lost their parents, and lost their educators and lost their doctors. So I
Mm,
would definitely have been someone help building things, helping manage, maybe a bus driver to some sort of school or something that can contribute to the children. So I think I would have tried to, look up to Steve Rogers and take that path at least.
Yeah. I think the moral compass of Steve, of course that's a reoccurring theme. We see how Bucky's trying to overcome his demons, and then Sam's trying to become his own person, like not just trying to do what Steve did, but sort of realize that he needs to do what Steve believed in him to be, that that next Captain America, because he constantly has like a disbelief. It's not him. Steve was Captain America. We can all agree with that.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you see some new soldier, perfect soldier in John Walker. You're like, who's this schmuck taking the shield?
Yeah, we're like, no.
You're like, like you can't. He's like, how can you take the shield? And of course, Bucky has that clash. But shout out to Wyatt Russell though, because I absolutely love what he's done with Walker.
He is killing it. He is so fantastic, dude. You could see the struggle in his eyes, the struggle of wanting to be, the best, but also like fighting with what he's dealing with on the inside, and there's fear in him. There's something that's not he's unsure about a lot, and he's insecure, but he's also like trying to fight to live up to this title and mantle of Captain America. And dude, he's just absolutely just phenomenal at the role, dude. I'm loving it. I love watching him because I'm like just watching the TV, and I watch it, and I'm in awe, man. He's killing it. I love his story.
He brings such an intensity to it. Like you're watching Joaquin Phoenix as Joker, or it's like that same esque. I get that feel like why it's almost feeling what he's doing. Like it's legit him. It's not Walker anymore, and that's like when character and actor just have that balance. It's like wow. It's unraveling on screen, and like you said, you see the defeat in his face. You can see that weight he's trying to take on this mantle. Being like you said, he has the guts, but he's just trying to be the best Captain America he can be. But unfortunately, with Bucky and Sam's perspective, they don't think he's got what it takes because they've seen this man Steve, almost like a god in a sense to people.
In a sense, well, I mean, you saw him, with the hammer. Technically,
oh well, yeah, he's technically,
he's godlike, God-worthy.
Can't forget that. Yes, godlike is probably the best way of putting it. Like, I mean, Walker's not lifting Mjolnir, so that's all.
No.
I would have loved for Sam or Bucky to have said that to Walker when they were walking together, when he's like trying to pick them up. Like, have you ever lifted Mjolnir? He's like, what's a Mjolnir? I would have loved like a scene like that. Good. That would have been so gold. Like, just to him going, Walker is never gonna do that, get to that level. But again, he's very interesting because he's really about practicality, getting things done. Steve had that moral compass. He will do it to the point where if he really feels it goes against what's right, he will not do something. And he went to that extreme of saving Bucky, even though he'd been the Winter Soldier and he knew it wasn't him. But everyone is like, yeah, this guy's bad. He's done this and that. And of course, that big secret with Tony. I feel like there's a lot of groundness to that character, which I love about Walker. Seeing him be almost like a soldier, like any soldier with honors. But trying to take on what Steve had, it's almost impossible to replicate that.
I feel like he's following rules and not his heart, and that's the difference. And Steve had heart. He could do it all day. He's always like, I'm Steve Rogers. He never was like, I'm Captain America. I'm Steve Rogers, and he took pride in who he is as a person. And I think that's that's one of the big differences between him and Walker. Walker is just doing what he's told and not really doing what he's feeling, and that's the difference. One of the many.
Yeah, I think after what happened with his partner Lamar, I feel like this is like Walker's gonna. I felt sorry for him. He's not really got the respect he wanted. Like as soon as he was Captain America, he knew like it was a big deal, and he probably assumes that he would get the respect. But you saw how that one of those that guy treated him, spat on him, and then him just not getting that respect. Even the Wakandans whooping his ass, and just
easily, yeah. And
it's
then
just
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. You go ahead.
No, it's just, like and that's the thing. Like you said, he just expected that respect, like he was Steve. Steve earned that serum too. Like it's not like
Yeah,
he wasn't given anything. Whatever Steve did, he worked hard for it and gave it his all, his heart, and everything. He wasn't the perfect soldier, and I was just man, I wish I could have met him.
same.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I mean that's the thing. I love that. What I love about what they're doing with what they've done in WandaVision and just Falcon and Winter Soldier is the way they are bringing out the earlier days of the MCU. So like WandaVision really made you think of that Age of Ultron Avengers movie in a different way, and the way you see Steve now and Captain America, it's so much more.
Yeah.
And yeah, the moment you see another person in the suit with the shield, the way the fans reacted is like, I love the John Walker character. I like US Agent of Comics. I think he's great, but a lot of people might have not been aware of that. So they're like, yeah, this new guy, he's not Steve. Just like Bucky's face when he sees that unveil, like
man,
he is fuming. Like Sam should have taken the shield. I would feel the same if I'd known a guy like Steve and that was his.
And that was his, shield, and he gave it to Sam. I would have been, angry too. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
he gave you the shield. You're Captain America now. He was like, here, but no, and I could see Sam struggle, and there's a lot that he's dealing with too, and I love how they're getting into his character and his personal life, and he's more than just cool guy that flies, and I love how they're showing like even financial struggles that he's having, and how could someone that could barely afford a boat be Captain America? It's not fair to.
That was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you can't even get a loan, not afford a boat, because I can't afford a boat. But it's like it's can't even get a loan, and how is he supposed to like want to protect his country and stand up and say that I'm representing this country when this country is not even doing anything for me, And so I love what they're doing with the character development. I love what they're doing with the relationships that they have. I'm a fan of the show. I watch it every Friday night. I mean,
I bet.
yeah, not Friday night, like Thursday night, early morning, like early Friday morning, like 3 a.m. And or I just like every Friday morning I wake up, eat my bowl of Cheerios, and I just watch it like a little kid, like it's a cartoon, and I'm like, Falcon's on, and then and then I watch it. Yeah.
Right. I love that. It's just it's so crazy just to see like how things have played out when it could have been so simple, like with Sam just taking the shield, and all of this could have been sort of it really plays into that thing, like maybe sometimes the decision you make can be very chaotic, and I like that realism. Like you'd be like, yeah, damn, maybe it did make a mistake. And again, it really plays into that whole thing about being human. And in a sense, Steve was human, but he was so much more than that, like godlike.
Yeah.
How many humans are going to be able to lift Mjolnir or get that sort of specialty? It's like one in 7.5 billion.
No.
I love the groundness in that sense. Like, yeah, Bucky and Sam, like Bucky's had the serum, but you see how human he's becoming, or really embracing that. And of course, Sam not wanting to take the serum. That's an interesting part of the character. Like must be very tempting if you get the serum, you can be badass, super strong, get all these abilities, but to say no, that takes guts.
Yeah. Maybe there's like a fear of like, what if I let it take control? What if I get too into it? Like,
right.
For instance, Walker.
Yeah.
Like maybe he knows the possibilities. Maybe he knows he's like, I'm not as strong, as Steve was, to do this, and maybe it could take him down the wrong path. And so that's you got to have some strength to just say no to that. So you're right, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
and
strong
Zemo is
man.
just like no hesitation. It's like this is crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that was speaking of Zemo, that you must have loved seeing that whole dance scene and the clubs.
oh, what? Dude, yeah, because that was the first time I had seen it, is when it aired, because I wasn't there on set or anything. So I was watching this, and I'm like, look at him get down, and he's just like, yeah, and it's just in
Yeah.
Madripoor, and I was like, dude, like they made that city look beautiful too, man. Like, oh,
Yeah, they did a great job. I'll tell you, the vibes I got were it reminded me of Black Panther. That same scene in that when
the casino scene in the beginning, right?
that's the one.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
when they're trying to get Claw. Actually, funny enough, it's Andy Serkis's birthday, so shout out to him.
Oh, hey.
And it's Simu Liu's birthday, who's playing Shang-Chi. So pretty crazy for sure.
Dude, happy birthday to you guys.
Yeah.
They're
Do you
gonna
ever
watch
watch
this.
it?
No, they're gonna watch this. They're gonna watch this.
But like like so it reminded me of Black Panther, it reminded me of John Wick, a bit of cyberpunk. I love that futuristic thing. And I think the awesome thing about that scene as well is the references to freaking Logan, like Madripoor.
Oh yeah, dude.
The bar that he goes to in the comic. Oh, dude, I was geeking out when I realized
Club
that.
Flower or something like that. It was Club. What is it? Club. What was it? It was the nightclub. It was the nightclub, right?
Yeah, something Flower. I think something. Damn, I should know this.
I should know this.
We both should know this.
I read it. I read the script. So
basically, like that was I when I realized that, I was like, oh my god, don't give me hope. Don't tell me Wolverine's gonna show up. I mean, being an MCU fan, you're gonna get that hype, but you just gotta chill at the same time.
That's what I had with WandaVision. I was hoping some other because I don't know the story with that. I don't know any behind the scenes with that. So like I'm watching it just like a fan, and I was like, oh, Reed Richards, is he coming?
Oh, dude. I was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I just can't believe how out of proportion I was thinking about these cameos. I think Reed Richards, me and my friend were even thinking like maybe Chadwick just in honor of him. Like that was pretty ridiculous. But there was some really other crazy ones. Mephisto was the big one.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Doctor Strange. I was like, Doctor Strange is coming. He has to be coming. Yeah, that's what
I
was
don't
thinking.
know if you knew this, but Doctor Strange, apparently Benedict had filmed a cameo for that, but because of COVID and the way filming went, apparently the director revealed that they actually scrapped that whole thing. And I think they didn't want people too hyped because obviously the film is so far away. Well, it's only a year, but because in the original schedule it was supposed to be WandaVision then Doctor Strange, so it's done like back to back. So I feel like in that sense I can understand why they removed it. But dude, we missed out on the Doctor Strange cameo.
Man. I wonder if that's gonna be like released after the movie's released and stuff. Like maybe they'll have something like. Maybe that'll be a post-credit somewhere else. You never know.
Would be interesting for sure. Like maybe Spider-Man. I mean, I think he might show up in the.
Yeah, he's involved in Spider-Man. He's in Spider-Man. I said Spider-Man. Spider-Man like a New Yorker. He's in Spider-Man. No, he's in Spider-Man. I from what I know of, right? I look a lot of like Instagram fan pages and everything, and so I just like I love all that stuff, and so
yeah,
like,
same.
There's so many rumors about the casting, and they've been very like close, like shut about it. So like it's all rumors, and I'm excited for every one of them. And I know that he's heavily involved in Peter's life now, I think, because this is from what I've seen and heard on just social media. I'm not confirming
disclaimer.
yeah. And so from what it seems like is that he's going to be like his new mentor or something. At least maybe into Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Right. I mean, Doctor Strange, as you know, like he's kind of becoming the prominent forefront of this new Avengers group. Obviously looking out for the multiverse as well as, Earth. It's so much more for the poor guy is not going to get a break. And after Thanos, it's like, that's just the start, buddy. It's just getting crazy. Like I actually don't think I've asked you, but who is like your favorite Marvel comic character and then MCU?
Ooh. Man,
Marvel to Marvel fan, I've got to ask you this because obviously
jeez,
that's.
dude, that's a hard one, man.
I thought you'd be so ready, like, dude, easily. Yeah.
No, it's hard because I look, I think about which powers I would have. That's how I base it off of my, like, and I love Storm and her ability. She can, just she could make a desert rain. She could bring,
It's pretty cool, yeah.
yeah, and but then there's like Wolverine in his like healing
Oh,
factor, and also like he's
I'm the
tough, but he's
Wolverine.
hey, what's up, bub? He's tough, but he's got like a heart of gold. He cries too and stuff.
Yeah.
Professor X, there's a man, dude. I don't know. I that's a hard question. You know what? I'm just gonna throw one out there.
It sounds like someone from X-Men for sure.
Yeah, I grew up watching the cartoons a lot, and
The
I
animated
used to,
series?
yeah,
Oh, I
and
loved
then
it. Da-da-da-da,
and
da-da-da. Oh, the
yeah. Did
intro.
you ever watch Wolverine and was it Wolverine and the Uncanny X-Men or Wolverine and the X-Men?
Is the Uncanny? Is
No,
that the
Wolverine and
cartoon
the
one?
X-Men. Yeah, it was a cartoon one. It only lasted one season because I think Nickelodeon bought the rights at the time, and it just ended on like a cliffhanger. It ended with like Gambit and Cyclops and Apocalypse, and it was like a future shot, and it just ended. And it was the best,
Wow.
one of the best X-Men cartoons like I'd ever seen. But damn, dude, Marvel. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'll go for Captain America because I love his
Hey.
heart. I love his
Hmm.
leadership, his strength. He doesn't care. And then he's just a fighter, and he fights and he fights and he fights, and he doesn't quit, and he leads, and people are always against him. He's been shot in the head, all that stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with Captain America just
I mean
because
that.
I can't decide right now. I can't decide, and he's like my number one right now. I used to have a Captain America toy that I got for my 11th birthday, and unfortunately, my dog got a hold of him like a year later and just
Oh no.
bit his ear off, like bit like one of his wings off, and like the shield was okay, but like he had like two missing fingers here. But as I told Peter before, I used to freeze my Captain America toy.
That was
And,
so cool, man. When I heard
yeah,
that, I was like,
I
"That is a proper fan right there." I'm gonna put you in the. You better freeze
yeah,
now.
yeah, and then I would just watch him and look at him like and just like, man, he's like frozen, like, and he's floating too. So like, I was like, man, Captain America. And then I just put him under hot water and thaw him out, and then just like start playing with all the
I'm
toys.
just imagining like if that was Toy Story and like once you'd gone, he's like, "Get me out of here! What's this kid trying to do to me?"
just just ice all over inside of him. Yeah.
Oh, if he was like Buzz, he just gets his laser and he tries to like get like a heat ray going or something, or try and get out of
Yeah.
the ice.
Oh, that's great. It's just a light. It's just a light, like being pointed at him. Ah, that's fantastic.
Dude, that's crazy. But like, yeah, I mean, damn, he's easy my favorite. I mean, I love Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, all these guys, Hawkeye, X-Men as well. But I just think, especially in the MCU, what he's done, like they've made him so great. And
Oh
dude,
yeah,
Endgame pretty much told you why Steve is the one. I mean, I'm guessing you were
man.
there opening night. You know
Oh,
exactly what I'm
what?
talking about.
Absolutely, man. When he grabbed that hammer, dude. When he grabbed it,
I'm getting goosebumps now, man.
yeah, and everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, oh my god! And then he just
Dude, it
acted like
was.
he knew how to use it. That's what's crazy. He just knew how to do it. That's how
Yeah.
like awesome he is. He just knew how to throw lightning into Thanos and just
Oh
kill it.
my god. When you realize like, yeah, who the hell is controlling Mjolnir because Thor's there? And
Yeah.
okay, Iron Man's out of commission for a bit. It's gotta be Cap. I only realized it was Cap until he pulls it back. I was like perfectly in
Yeah.
time. And I was like, oh, no, they did it.
Yeah.
That you remember Age of Ultron? That little
Yeah. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
were paying it, they were paying it off, and that moment came, and it obviously happens in the comics. So people, even as soon as they saw Captain America introduced, they're like, they've got to do that at some point. So to see that on screen, and
Oh
just
man,
seeing the audience. I was fortunate to be in a 4DX screening, so the seats shake, you can feel, you can
me
smell.
too.
So when that was happening, it was shaking, and I was the seat was
Oh,
shaking, dude, like a roller coaster, and
that's
I was like,
fantastic.
when he gets the hammer, you feel the force of it coming to you, and like you get the whoosh
Ah,
beyond your ears, and then the moment he gets that hammer going, he smacks Thanos. You feel the force. It's like, yo,
you're
this
like,
is. Oh, dude,
ah.
I was screaming, man. I was going, yes, you fucking get Thanos. I was losing. I was up on my seat as well at the same time, so I kept jumping in and out, and I was losing it, man. Like, never ever
Oh,
had a great experience like that in my life. I mean, Infinity War was, but Endgame even
yeah.
topped it.
When he's standing there alone, just ready to face Thanos and his army, not knowing anyone's coming, bro, that's so much respect. And like, you have to have heart. He's like, I'm gonna die trying to save this world.
Yeah,
That's
like
what he.
he straps his shield and he's just like looking at this army of Thanos. It's not just him in the Chitauri army. It's like every freaking villain. Like that's
Yeah,
well, not villain, but like army that he's had, and obviously they came through the quantum realm too. And then just seeing Cap do that, you just know Cap's so it's like Steve even went to
yeah,
that limit. But
yeah.
dude, the moment when you hear Sam on your left,
Oh
portals,
man.
oh,
And then you see
epic
Black Panther
music.
walk out, and he's just
Yeah,
like, and I'm like, ah! And then when
I
Spider-Man landed, when Peter Parker's like, the crowd went crazy.
I
I remember the feeling that I remember hearing. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Just imagine being a part of that. And
yeah,
dude, ah, man, it was so awesome, dude.
I just
I'm gonna go YouTube that scene.
dude, have you okay, this is something I've said to a few of my friends as well. So on YouTube, headphones, maybe as loud as you possibly want to put them, but it's gonna be very loud, but watch the freaking audience reactions and just oh my god, you'll get so much goosebumps and you will feel like
Yeah,
you're back in the cinema.
you get the chills for sure, for sure.
It's so I always get the chills every single time. I even start reacting like I'm back in the cinema. I can't like sit there and be quiet. I feel like yeah, I'm part of this crowd.
Yeah,
Like
you're like,
it's
"Ah!" Dude, it's such an amazing moment because it was years of buildup, like and seeing him just like start from literally the skinny
kid from
little,
Brooklyn
yeah, yeah, and then he
and
became
skinny, yeah.
a god, right before our eyes. Think about that, the evolution of Steve Rogers in the last, what, 10 years. Ah, man, and he seems so genuine too, like Chris Evans's performance was just like, it seems
Wow.
so like filled with heart, and like, this guy, I'm not gonna quit on him, his dedication to Bucky being his friend, and him believing in others no matter what is being shown to you, him, having faith too, and like just taking pride of Brooklyn too. I'm from Brooklyn, so like, like, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, hey, yeah, Cap, Brooklyn, baby. It was just like, yeah, dude, that feeling, man. Talking about it just makes me excited, man. I just
I'm gonna
love.
watch this like tomorrow,
Yeah,
like
I,
100%.
I'm 100% gonna watch it without a doubt. I'm actually, after all this beautiful conversation, I'm definitely gonna YouTube it. I'm just gonna watch it.
Dude, it's so some people I remember like were complaining about the length, and I knew like these people weren't big fans, and I was like, shut up and watch it.
The the longer the superhero movie, the better, because you get more. You get more. And
Yeah,
when it's over, you still want more. You're like, what's happening next? What the hell? Like, where is he? Like, people want like uh a Steve Rogers movie, Captain America movie, where he's returning the stones, and to
I
see
would
that,
love that.
I'd watch it. I'd 100% watch it because I know it'd be epic and amazing.
Mm.
Just imagine him going back, and then, man, man,
I'd
man,
love to
just
see a series about that, like each episode, maybe same structure with Falcon Wind Soldier. Like I think 6 stones, right? So an
yeah.
episode based on each stone, and just seeing the travel he goes. One thing I've always wondered ever since his ending in Endgame is what was that interaction like with the Red Skull? Did he remember him? Did he
Oh,
go, Steve, son of a bitch, you're still alive? like Ford does the
Um,
Serta.
that's a good question. I didn't even think of that because he has to have he had to have seen him and had to have a conversation.
Yeah, Steve put him there. Like that's where he went off with the Tesseract. So
Yeah.
surely that must have like evoked a bunch of emotions. Like this guy got me here. Like he would have remembered it all, but he's like a phantom in the sense.
Mm. I wonder what that conversation was like now. Oh my God. We need to like hit up some writers and figure it out. Like that has to be
We'll
seen.
do that story.
Yeah, dude, just do it. Oh man, I never even thought about that. That's brilliant. I didn't I didn't think of that. Man.
I've been just because obviously like that him and Red Skull had such a big, obviously one of the biggest villains of Captain America, and I'm sure Steve wouldn't just be like, oh, so I have to return the stone to you. Like it would be a very awkward interaction. And some theories going around I read a while ago is maybe he had a battle with Red Skull and that possibly made him lose the serum, or some crazy theory he started to age. But I mean that's just all like theories and predictions. But yeah, I've always wondered what if they do see each other
Or
again. And
or more maybe that Red Skull is like, I'm not the Red Skull, and he's not that same person anymore. He's like this spirit that's trapped there, right? So there's nothing he can
right,
do, you know.
mm,
Maybe he's grown out of that emotion, out of that anger.
right,
Maybe for years. I mean, think about it. He's been there since the 40s. So
pretty
he's been
much,
there
yeah.
for a very, very, very long time. So he's probably like over it now and just like, hey, Steve, how you doing?
I
You
would just be
know?
curious, like, what the first few days, how he would treat Warmere, or if it was just like from that moment on, it just started to be who he was. Like, it'd be kind of interesting if we kind of saw that like whole thing and how it happened. It'd be quite cool.
I would love to watch it. I would pay 16.50 for a movie ticket for that. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So with so obviously your character in the MCU, a flag smasher. Um, before, like, as you were coming up as an actor, when you're young, you're not exactly old, so you were relatively young when MCU was kicking off. So you must have gone through that, if being a fan, like if I ever get the chance to be in the MCU and you're acting, did you ever feel that hope, like maybe one day I could get in an MCU project?
When when I started like professionally acting in 2015, I told myself I'm gonna be in something superhero. I don't care. I'm gonna call it out to the universe. I'm gonna pray, meditate, focus on it, whatever it is that it may be. Uh, I don't know how, when, or why, but I'm gonna be on it. And this just happened to be awesome. And and I get to be a part of something
Mm.
throughout from the beginning to the end, which was like awesome, man. I never had that. I never thought, honestly, I didn't think I was gonna, I wanted to, but I didn't think I would be able to, at least uh, also like the next 10 years, maybe further down the road. I maybe, but it wasn't like anything that I thought could happen. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
As an actor, I was very insecure at one point and very young and green, and I just didn't know anything, and I knew I didn't know anything, and because of that, I was in my head, and I was like, I'm not good enough for that. But it
Never
grew
say
right
never,
out.
as Black Widow says.
Yeah, never say never. Never say never. I'll tell you that. Never say never. You
And
never
amazing,
know.
you said since 2015, so 4 years later, or 6 years later, and you're here. Like, wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I cried. I cried because it meant a lot to me. It's the only role that I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. I teared, balled up, snot, everything. And sorry for the graphic
That's
detail,
funny.
but it because it became a dream of mine, and I always wanted to be a superhero, but I realized superheroes didn't exist, so I wanted to be an actor because actors played superheroes, and it's just like I used to play with these characters, toys. I used to have a giant Iron Man toy. My brother had this. Oh, I had an Iron Man Tony Stark toy from the 1990s cartoon where it was Tony Stark in like his suit, and you could place all the Iron Man parts onto him.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, dude. And so like I it's just
Was it like magnetic where you have the part and you go in and just like metal, like ding?
No, it actually had like little holes, like a Lego type of
Oh,
thing,
okay.
and then you just put them on, and so it had like it was like an Iron Man with a suitcase, and then he had like an Iron Man mask, some armor plates, and everything, and I used to just put them together, and I just like I had a lot of Marvel toys growing up. I had the Spider-Man, uh, like it was like a a house. It was like a Spider-Man house that you can put Spider-Man in and then launch him into a Doctor Doom like cardboard that flips down. And I just remember like just playing with those stuff, those toys as a child, and so it's that love for Marvel and those superheroes has always been there, and I always wanted it, but I was like maybe one day, and I'm just so grateful that I'm in something so big and so like amazing, honestly. Like,
Right. Do
yeah.
you have any like really cool collectibles from your MSU experience? Because I think I was saying this to you before, like anything that's like you were able to keep or kind of have like a memoir from set.
Not from set, but I do have something that was given to me uh, because I was part of the cast, and it's a fitted hat. It's a fitted hat. I'll show you actually. Let me see if I can get it.
All right, cool. Yeah, sure.
And whoop. So this is like an exclusive. It's a little dusty.
Yo, that's clean. I love that.
Yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier for the cast. It's a fitted hat, and it fits perfectly. And I'm so grateful that I have it. And I barely wear hats because I have a big head. And this was like this was
Uh,
like given to us from the producers and everyone, and it's something that I'll always cherish and have with me. And it wasn't part of the set, but it's definitely part of that memory and
mm,
everything.
for sure.
Yeah.
You were saying about how when you were on set with who like Erin and all these other guys, like how you guys instantly connected. So like for the first time, what was it like meeting those guys and how did you feel about working with them?
For the first time that the first day that we shot together was you remember that scene where we're all loading an airplane?
Yeah.
That was our first day ever meeting,
Wow.
and and shh, don't know one. Anyway, we were all just talking, and some of us had mutual friends, and we were all just like really like excited to be there. And we're all just like, hey, what's up? Hi, I'm Renes. And they're like, oh, I'm Aaron. I'm Des. And we just like, uh, I don't know. We just had conversation, and we just were all smiling, and it was a long day, and we were laughing with one another. We weren't. It just came naturally too. Normally that doesn't happen, at least from my experiences. We don't have that instant bond. Usually people are to themselves on their phone or busy on phone calls, and that's understandable. They're busy people. But for some reason, we just there was chemistry. There was just good chemistry there, and there was just good conversation, and it just didn't want to like we didn't want it to end. And then we all exchanged phone numbers, and we would text, and we have like a group text now that we have, and then we all text on Instagram. We share stories and stuff, and meeting them was just. And it was just an instant connection, I think, and that's just something that I love, and that's a huge part of this experience. And what made it great was the friendship, and the relationships that I built with these young flag smashers. And we all got to travel the world together and experience something that not many can say they have, which is being a part of being super soldiers. Come on, super
Yeah.
soldiers, like dude, we're like Captain America, but not
Yeah.
really, but we're like him, you know, and it's just like I love just the chemistry and just the conversation that we've had. We working with them for the first time and seeing their talent, and they're just so like into it, and you learn from them. I was, watching Des, and Des, like he makes it his own, and I love it. I love what he does, and I learn from him, and and we all learn from one another. Like Tyler is just like so wise, about a lot of things, and so like he schooled me, and I'm like 10 years older than him. Like he schooled me on some stuff, and I'm like, dude, that's brilliant. And then Erin's such a sweetie. I mean, that's sweetie. She's so sweet. She's just a genuine like person. And just treats everyone the same. India has this energy that she's just constantly like in this she picks you up a little bit,
Really
and
bubbly.
oh yeah, really bubbly. Danny was just so like she's the one that I went to for like information. She's so like knowledgeable about everything, and Ness and I, we're both Puerto Rican and Dominican, and so we were just talking about that, and he's in the music and all, and he was just showing me his stuff, and it was just like, man, we're boys now, and then Noah is just like, I watched him, and he's just got like so much style, like he's so good at what he dressing, and I was like, dude, and we all learn from each other and pick up things from one another, and that was just a great experience overall. I hope I didn't forget anyone. No, no, but yeah, man, it's just like working with them was just so fun. It was laughing, 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 wisdom, laughing, 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 fun, and as you saw in the videos, man, that was all natural, dude.
I
That
love the
chemistry.
goofiness. I love that.
Yeah,
Even you're a group
that's
of friends, you're always bringing out these different sides you never knew. It's great.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it was dude. That's one. Like I said, it's one of the biggest things that I love about the show and being part of this project was the relationship with the Flag Smashers on and off screen.
Right. It's
So
quite funny because like off screen, it's like this like really nice, sweet version of it. On screen, it's like, yeah, deadly terrorists. It's like it's not even that in real life. It's like the complete opposite.
One moment we're all dancing and singing Usher, the next one it's like we have to kill Captain America.
I love.
It's
I love that. I'm gonna do a little skit on that. Literally, I'm not even kidding. Like a little edit of what you're expecting the Flag Smashers to be, and then what they really are.
Hey man, go for it, dude. Yeah, show
I'll
the
send
world.
it to you. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
It'll
please.
be great.
That's fantastic.
But like, yeah, I mean, when you were coming into the MCU, like obviously these guys, Sebastian and Anthony, they've been in the game for a while, not just as actors, but obviously with the MCU. Sebastian going back to the first Avenger, and Mackie since Winter Soldiers have been in there for quite a while. Did you get to meet them or get to speak to them at all?
Oh yeah. I got to talk to them a couple of times. They're awesome, man. It's funny. I met Anthony Mackie in 2014 when I was a bodyguard.
Wow.
Yeah, and my client was a hip hop artist, and he also remembers that night because that was the second time that he ever met my client. And so
Right.
I was like, dude, I was a bodyguard, and you tapped me on my shoulder, and you're like, hey, can I talk to so and so? And I said, absolutely, dude. And then I brought that up years later. We both remember that night for two different reasons, but
That's crazy. Law of attraction,
yeah,
I'd say.
yeah,
That's
dude. And I told him that, and and like we had just like the connection. It was cool, and he was just telling me about going to Juilliard, and just like man, it was just like great. We just talked about a lot of stuff, personal stuff, and things I can't get into, but it was dude, man, like really really good people, man. And Sebastian, we worked a couple days together, and on the plane, on the plane back, we all were just chatting it up, and Anthony was in front of me, Sebastian was to my left, and we're all just like having a great conversation and having a blast. They're really really fun people, I'll tell you that. Mackie's got this energy, dude. He's got this energy. He's got this energy. He's got like
I love the way they bounce off each other. They're just like they
yeah.
have so much fun together. And you saw that set video of them jumping out the plane, and
Oh yeah.
Mackie's like laughing, and then Sebastian scream. That scream, I love it. It gets you every time. And a lot of people I've seen have kind of referred to these two as like a Lethal Weapon kind of duo in the show. They have so much chemistry together. I love it. And yeah, just in the show, their characters. What do you really like about that relationship that we've seen in these episodes with Bucky and Sam?
What do I like about the relationship? Well, I like that they're trusting each other more and more,
Mm,
and that they know because they had a good friend in Steve that they can have that relationship with one another. If Steve can trust him, then I can trust him,
right.
and you can
Yeah.
see that happening, and you can see that there's a brotherhood, you know, uh, in the works, and just him helping him out with the boat and staying at his house and him inviting him into his home. There's more than just a partnership and co-workers.
Mm.
That's a friendship, and I love how it's growing little by little. When they at first like don't even like each other, and now he's helping him with this boat
Yeah.
and he's letting him stay at his place. And
Right.
now that they're just the this adventure is making their friendship stronger, and I really like that they're depending on each other. Like Bucky is going to Sam for advice, and they listen to each
Yeah.
other, and they're actually like good talk, like they're actually opening up. Bucky couldn't even open up to his therapist, but he's opening up
Yeah.
to Sam, and I
Right.
love that. I love that he can trust him that way, and there's trust being built there, and a strong relationship, I feel, for sure.
There's a lot of character development in the show, which is what I love about these series, because obviously we're getting the action, which is the thing I love, of course. But I love a good story. I love a good bit of character development. With Bucky and Sam throughout the series, yeah, you just see that trust building. It only took 5 episodes for them to finally get on, but it got there. But yeah, like that, them like bringing it in together and just like they fully trust each other. Like Bucky's like, let me know when you get lead on Carly, and uh, it's just crazy, since the first film they both when we saw Falcon and Mackie's debut, like seeing that I remember that scene near the end, third act of the movie, when Sam's saying to Steve, your friend, he's the kind you stop, not help, or because obviously he's a Winter Soldier, and it just made me think that bit of line to being friends with Bucky and trusting him, it's gone such a
Yeah,
long way. And then from Bucky, like, kind of not liking this guy, like, I hate you. You see that scene in Civil
yeah,
War with
yeah,
Spider-Man. Yeah, like, he's like, who's this guy? He can't be Steve's partner. I'm Steve's partner. He
yeah,
can't be
yeah,
that. It's like that development. They've come together and they're like, yeah, this guy brought us together, Steve, and
yeah,
he's taught me things about you I didn't know, and I've learned things about this whole experience between each other. And it's almost like Bucky's learning the morals of Steve, and Sam's almost trying to become his own Captain America rather than just Steve Rogers Captain America and
yeah,
taking on that. That's what I like about their relationship, because they're trying to be themselves. And like you said, Sam telling Bucky, it doesn't matter what Steve thinks. Like, you just got to do what you want to do. And I love it when he says good talk, because it probably reminds him of something Steve would say,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that same sort of mannerism and the way of coming across, like just so righteous about it. I love it. And that obviously we'll see what happens in the finale. And just to close this off, do you have any words you could say, just to not to spoil
Um,
the finale, but anything?
just keep watching. That's all I can say. I can't say anything else. Just
Yeah, I knew it.
uh, keep watching, man. It's gonna be man. I'm excited to watch it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I want to see. I love watching it unfold because when you're behind the scenes, when you're on set, it's different. It's nothing
Mm.
near what it looks like, and especially with post production, which they're doing an amazing job with. Like it's a whole new world to me. Like when I see it, I'm like, oh wow, it's new to me, and because I'll see it from like maybe 20 feet away, but it's not the same. I don't get the close-ups, I don't get the pans, I don't get the lighting, I don't get all that.
That
So
feel, yeah.
yeah, so like I'm just excited to see it. Everyone should tune in because you're gonna be missing
Yes.
out if you don't.
You got the whole freaking next few days to binge it. So if you haven't watched the whole of Falcon and Winter Soldier, you better. Otherwise, Lennox is going to be at your door with
Yeah.
Carly and the whole Flag Smasher team.
Oh, we're gonna
Maybe,
smash.
maybe even Walker. Maybe there'll be other characters. I mean, you're doomed, basically.
Yeah, just find out. Trust me, you don't want to find out.
Oh, dude, thank you so much for doing
Dude,
this. It's been such a
thank you.
pleasure talking to you, Renes, and
Uh,
I'm just so fun to talk about Marvel and just your experiences
Yeah.
with Falcon Wind Soldier. Really looking forward to the finale, as we said. And any closing statement you want to do?
Dude, just eat your vegetables. Wash your hands, guys. Use hand sanitizer if you can. Get vaccinated. Make things easier. Also, enjoy the show. Really take time and watch it. It's going to be a great watch. I know it is. I watch it and I was in it. Like I watch it. But no, man, just enjoy it. Love one another, and
Love
just
it.
yeah, dude. Yeah, man. I just keep an eye out, keep watching, and it's gonna be a great finale.
So we're signing off, guys. Thank you so much for coming on Shamoon Reacts. Hope you all enjoyed your interview tonight, and we'll definitely see you next time on Shamoon Reacts. All right, sweet.